transform your chaos into expression. You have to understand that there's something motivating about chaos. There's something that operates at a higher level when you're boiling or being compressed by the world. You have to understand that the moment you can express the chaos within you that appears around you in your life, the moment you can transmutate, the moment you can dissipate the negativity through expression, then leaving you consequentially with a positive energetic feedback, you have to understand that chaos into expression is power. Because the moment you can express the turmoil, the moment you can truly look in the mirror and face what the fuck is trying to destroy you and express that at a high level, and not just talking, but to look in the mirror and to actually do some shit to fix some shit, to stride with action and objectively initiate yourself into the destroying of the chaos through expression. Now, what do we mean? Creative fucking expression. You have to understand that we exist in a level of expression. And so the way you navigate space and time is directly correlating to your internal embodiment expressing itself through you. So your internal traits are going to seek expression in the external world. And so the addiction is going to manifest as you passively killing yourself and stroking your dick to porn. And the negative qualities like sloth is going to manifest as you being a deleterious, slowly corroding, abhorrent piece of shit bitch. What we truly have to understand is that when you turn chaos, when you turn compression, when you return the fire with fire in a positive light, you have to understand that you are going to be a boiling pot, and you are going to be moving with such momentum and fire that is going to be impossible to stop you. The moment the fire begins to spread around the forest, it can no longer be stopped. It's too late. The fire is going to consume everything in its path, and then it's going to leave a fertile ground for things to return and replenish again. And so what we have to understand is that the chaos that you face, the negativity that might manifest and provoke you in your life, if you can express this in a positive manner through action, this energy is potentialized energy, and there's nothing that's going to motivate you more than the negatives in your life. Because the path that we walk is to surely and undeniably dissipate the negative in our life. And there will always be negative, and this continues the infinite cycle of overcoming, the cycle of becoming and embodying the highest version of you to overcome and to create such a formidable character, such a primordial savage out of the constant savagery of overcoming what the fuck is trying to decimate you, and then to perpetuate this on an infinite cycle. You have to understand who the fuck you're gonna become. And so most people are okay with slowly corroding in time. Most people are okay with stagnating, dying bitches, and they're okay with being subordinated. But you have to understand that you're either going to look in the mirror and conquer your life, and you're going to become the creator of your life, or you're just going to be some prop in someone else's. And so to be the main character of your life is your choice. Most people are okay with being subordinate, stagnating pieces of shit. And so be it. May you die that, and may your existence, bring forth what the fuck you believe you're worth. Because you have to understand that to operate at such a low level is to believe that's what you're worth. And so what we have to understand is that the chaos within your life, you have to seek to express this. And when you express this, you now accumulate momentum, because you are going to be a pot of water boiling, and this is going to accumulate into attacking your goals with such a ferocious energy. Because we have to understand that, first of all, you need a fucking goal. You need somewhere to go. A goal is a destination, an internal mental destination. You are navigating yourself to an internal space that's going to reflect in the external world. And so what you have to understand is that if you have no goals, you are definitely a fucking lost soul, and you're going to corrode through time going nowhere. You are going to stagnate and die a bitch. And so what you have to understand is the moment you find your goal and you have the chaos, aka adversity, you now transmute this chaos, aka adversity, into expression, and you express yourself with more fury. You express yourself with more power. you express yourself with more potency, and through that you become undeniable in expression. And when you become undeniable in expression, you cannot be denied. You have to understand that you're going to be undeniable, or you're going to have your access denied. Now, most of you guys have your access denied, and then this reflects in your low quality character and your low quality fucking subordinated reality. And so what you have to do is truly understand that the power is within your hands to unveil your true potential. And if you're not going to live from your potential, if you're not going to live accumulating and moving towards fulfilling your potential to potentially express the best version of you at the highest level, internally and externally, to reflect the highest of desires on your mind, and to truly navigate space and time with this energy that is going to bring forth all that you seek out of life, you have to understand that if you don't, your access will be denied and you settle for less. And the people who settle for less are the people who are believing that they're entitled to more. You're going to die a bitch, and you have to understand that the reason it is because you were too lazy to look in the fucking mirror, you were too impotent, you were too impudent, you were too incompetent to truly say that you wanted more out of life and you believe you're worth more. You have to understand that the way you navigate life, the way you perpetuate yourself in these infinite cycles of being a low-level piece of shit, is a direct byproduct of what the fuck you believe you're worth. And so when you neglect the responsibility to live from your potential, when you choose to stay for less, and when you choose to be less and to not compound into more, you believe you're worth this, and then you believe that this is okay for you to stagnate in this fucking box, this cubicle, and there was your life. And so now we have to understand that the value of life is going to be perceptually different and conceived at different levels for different people. And so maybe you believe your life is worth what it is now, and maybe you believe that the value of life isn't as potent as becoming the best version of you, conquering resistance and unfolding your true potential at the highest level. And if that is what you believe you're worth, then it's okay, and remain that, stay there, and get the fuck out the way when you see something that is moving with a higher level of potency in your existence. Because most of you guys settle for less, and you see something more, and then you instantly try to confine what is more to your shrinkage of a puny world. What you have to understand is that you cannot shrink what is bigger than you. All you're doing is reflecting your shrinkage and trying to project it onto something bigger than you. And so you cannot shrink what the fuck is bigger than you. And so what you have to truly do is ask yourself, why are you shrinking this? You saw the Ferrari, it must have been rented. Maybe you believed that you were worth a Ferrari. You saw an apartment that seeks to, that seems very expensive, and it had to be, rented, it had to be an Airbnb. So you believe you couldn't afford this. And so now we have to understand the level of impotence that you operate from. And then we have to understand that because you are such a shrinkage individual, you will seek to shrink things bigger than you. And so the best thing to do is look in the fucking mirror and ask that bitch, why the fuck you gotta shrink everything that is at a higher level than you? Then you realize that your existence is compensating for your low value. And so the value, aka validation, the perceptual conception of perceived value projected onto you, you believe that validation from valueless people is meaningful. And the reason you believe that valueless validation is meaningful is because you believe you're valueless. And so now you're penny pinching metaphysical tokens of validation to feel like you're valid when you're invalid, and you know you're invalid, and this is why you feel invalid. And maybe you should validate yourself through your fucking conduct and the way you operate in life, instead of some bitch telling you that you're good enough, because you're fucking not, because you would know if you were. If you truly know you're good enough, well, you don't need validation to be validated. You already fucking know. And you have to understand that there's a certain point where validation is no longer rooted in admiration. You have to understand that people will validate you rooted in envy. People will validate you rooted in sabotage. You have to understand that people, you have to look at the root of their expression, because when you get to a certain degree of perception, when you evolve in the level of consciousness, aka sentience, we have to understand that consciousness is just being fucking conscious. And so in a world full of unconscious fucking debauchery primates, well, we have to understand that the level of consciousness is going to reflect your degree of perception. And when you can spot some shit that is now manifesting out of someone's mind, seeking expression because they cannot exist in a space without having to interject themselves into a timeline that they have no business fucking being in. You have to understand that certain admirations aren't even admiration. Certain validations aren't even validation. It's a internal chaotic emotion seeking to express itself through that individual. And you have to understand that everything is an energy exchange. And so the moment you accept that is the moment you accepted the energy behind it. And so when we look at intention, we have to look at how people are intending to operate and deal with you. Because someone could take care of you, but the intention behind them taking care of you could be using you. It can be manipulating you, and there's so many degrees of malice behavior in the human psyche. And so you have to truly discern, because most of you guys truly seek love, and most of you guys truly seek fulfillment and wholeness. But the way you treat yourself is going to directly correspond to the way you'll feel internally. And so you have to treat yourself at a certain level to feel what you feel the need to feel. And so when you try to seek it from external things, it's going to leave you emptier than before, because the source is not you. And so most of you guys, you have your source of love, because we have to understand that love is just the metaphysical integrity, the metaphysical glue that keeps everything together. Love is more than just that emotion you feel when you feel in love. No, that is the chemical. True metaphysical love is to wake up and be the best version of you every fucking day. And most of you guys lack that. And then you seek other people to be the source of your love, and then this ends up destroying you, and it becomes a fuckfest shit show, because you're too much of a bitch to simply love yourself through action and gratitude, by taking steps of gratitude through action, by accumulating power through yourself, and moving in the trajectory which is going to fulfill you the most, which is to look in the past and see how much you've transformed, look in the present moment and be proud of who you became, and then continue moving in that trajectory to be proud of who you're becoming. And this is the only thing that is truly gonna make you feel whole. And so you guys keep on seeking these external distractions to compensate for your internal lack of love and value. And so what you have to do is look in the mirror and realize you're a bitch, and do some shit to fix some shit, because you will die that bitch. And the worst thing about it is you go your entire timeline unaware to the fact. And so what we're doing is shedding consciousness, and what we're doing is shedding higher degrees of perception for you to unravel your psyche, and you will die a bitch if you neglect the truth of the message. It's that fucking simple.